Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 3 Under Par podcast. This is a golf podcast where Little White Ball is life. I'm your host, ScottyTee, and we're going to waste no time for this one. Y'all, the PGA Tour is back. Huge episode, big week for golf. Golf has been gone for way too long, for nearly 3 months since the Players' Championship, March 13th. PGA Tour is back for this week at Colonial. And to start off this episode, cold opening, we're going to go with Art Stricklin. Art Stricklin is a friend of the show. He's a golf writer for golf.com, Golf Channel, any major golf publication. You'll see Art Stricklin on there. He is on the grounds at Colonial. So that's why we're starting off with Art. He gives some great insight on what it is like on the grounds at Colonial right now, how the guys are handling the PGA Tour, COVID-19 social distancing guidelines, and new rules that are being instituted for this. Obviously, as well, no fans in attendance this week. So how are the pros going to deal with it? And so, Art, we talked for probably 20-25 minutes. It's a fantastic interview, talk, and insight on what the PGA Tour is going to look like this week at Colonial. And then on the back half of the episode, it's going to be me and Scaff. KJ's out playing golf right now. It's going to be me and Scaff sharing our thoughts and opinions going into this week at Colonial, what we think is going to happen, and then we give some picks on who we think it is going to win. So follow us on social media at 3 Under Par Pod. That is the number 3 Under Par Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe, rate, and review. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below on who do you think is going to win this week at Colonial. And then if you're subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts. So write a review on Apple Podcasts. And I mentioned this at the end of the episode, but I'm going to mention to you again right now. If you write a review on Apple Podcasts, tell us who you think is going to win. In that review, again on Apple Podcasts, if you're correct with your prediction, I will send you a box of Pro V1s. If you comment below on YouTube or send me an email or DM on social media and you tell me your winner and you are correct, I'll send you a sleeve of Pro V1s. So again, social media, email, and anything like that on YouTube, comment below. If you're correct, I'll send you a sleeve of Pro V1s. But if you write that review on Apple Podcasts, tell me who you think is going to win, and you're correct, I will send you a full box of Pro V1s or a golf ball, your choice, whichever you prefer. I play the Pro V1s, so that's what I went with and said here right now. So we hope you enjoyed this interview with Art Stricklin. And then for the back half of the episode, me and Scaff, I'm Scott. And remember, Little White Ball is life. Okay, we are joined now by a friend of the show, recurring guest as well, author, golf writer. You can find one of his latest pieces on golf.com about Jim Nantz going solo without Nick Faldo. For this week, we have Mr. Art Stricklin. Art, how's it going?
Hey, greetings from Colonial. Good to be with you.
You are there on the grounds. That's why we wanted to get you on. Thanks for agreeing to come on. We can't thank you enough. I was thinking about it. It's been a while since we've had you on the show. As everybody's aware, golf and sports has been on a hiatus. You're there on Colonial. Was today one of the practice rounds on Monday, or what was it like out there today?
Yeah, practice round and, pretty quiet. Obviously, there's no fans here. There's no real, not that many players. Kevin Kisner's out here. Brooks Koepka is out here, some of your local guys. But it's very different, the fact that players kind of get in a routine. But even, the stuff that they take for granted, because I think a lot of people know there's equipment trucks go week to week to week with these players. And so if you need a tweak on your tailor-made driver, you want it up maybe another degree for this week, we just hand it to the club guy, and he takes it to the truck, and he tweaks it, and he gives it back to you. But that's not the way it's working this week. You've got to physically take the club to the truck and leave it there on the back kind of step. And then the club's got to be wiped down, and then it's taken to the club guy. He makes whatever tweak you're looking for. Then it's got to be taken back to the back of the truck. You've got to physically go and pick it up and, wipe it down again. So just a little extra work for the players this week.
Right, no doubt. Pete, they're going to be doing a lot of testing as well. We were talking right before we jumped on the air that they're like you're just saying, the routine is just out of rack. What else is different about Colonial this week, outside of like equipment and whatnot, to go along
Yeah,
with
well,
testing and things like
I,
that?
yeah, obviously they're going to test, but then, inside the locker rooms, most tournaments try to have as many player perks as they can because that's how they get players to come back. And, there's tickets to shows or tickets to movies or Ranger games, or they have a chef on call, for all day. You want to, carve you a sandwich, and all that's gone away. They're really just going to have the grab and go meals. If you want something to eat, you just got to get it in the bag, and it's a sandwich or a wrap, or, something like that. So why that grab and go? Also, the locker rooms, a lot of times players will spend time in the locker rooms, kidding with guys or chopping it up or whatever. But the locker rooms have been all spread out, and so no one's going to be anywhere near anybody else in the locker room. And there's a limit to how much time you can spend in the locker room. You can only spend enough time in the locker room to get your gear, get dressed, undress, shower, whatever you need to do, and then you have to leave. So, the idea is to spend as little time indoors as possible to get your work done. And then once you do that, there's 4 designated hotels that you can stay in. So after that, you just go one of the 4 designated hotels.
Wow. I didn't know about you can only spend a certain amount of time inside. That is so interesting.
And it's different. And so, and then, a couple of things when you get on the course. And one thing I think that your listeners, will be interested in, I think you're going to see some lost balls at Colonial. Pros never lose a golf ball because if they hit it offline, well, they hit into the crowd and the crowd scatters, and, it's all the grass all matted down from where people have been standing, and they just go and hit their ball and chip it out. Well, there is no crowds and there's really no marshals to tell you where your ball was. So if you hit the ball offline, you're like us. Scott, you're looking for your ball. There's no one there to help you. Maybe you and your caddy or somebody. So, that's going to be different. The fact that I remember Tiger Woods, someone once asked Tiger Woods, Tiger, when's the last time you lost a golf ball on the golf course? And I think his answer was, well, I think I was 9 years old. I was playing in the Orange County Junior Classic in Anaheim where I lived, and I couldn't find my ball in one of those because, players are just used to either the fans finding their balls for them or the marshals going to find their balls for them, or they hit them in the middle of the fairway, which is why they're pros.
Right.
So the other thing I think is going to be really interesting, Scott, is that whereas I have no problem social distancing on the golf course because I distance in the trees, I distance in the woods, on the rough. But, these pros, if you look, and I know you've been to some, Houston Opens and different events, you look, all the pros hit the ball within about a 3-foot, area.
Right.
In the middle of the fairway. They're all striping it good. And so obviously they can't all go to their ball at the same time. You're going to have to, hang back and let somebody else hit his shot. The other thing is that with the caddies, you're not going to be able to have the caddy, or the rules are, the caddy's not going to be able to hand you a club. You're going to have to go out and pick out a club yourself out of the bag. So, player may ask his caddy, Bob, what I got here? And he'll say, you got 156, and I see the winds, quartering in a little bit, and I think maybe a strong 5 is what you need to, do this. And so you've actually got to go to the bag and pick out the 5 of the caddy's standing away to minimize the amount of contact you all have together.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. We had Paul Tesori, Webb Simpson's caddy, on the podcast a few weeks ago. For our listeners, go back and listen to it. Paul's such a great guy, and it's a really good episode. And we were probably about halfway through this pandemic time off, and he was saying how much he's ready to get back. Chris Stroud was saying how much he is ready to get back too. So, I mean, how much the field for Colonial is just off the charts. I mean, this has got to be like one of the best fields to come to Colonial in a long time. Even though things are different, I think it shows these players are ready to get back to work.
Well, they really are, and I'm the first to admit I was initially wrong about this. I really thought the better players, the upper echelon guys, would give it a couple of weeks to wait and see what's it like, how's the social distancing. But I think they're chomping at the bit. And if you look at the list, 15 of the top 20 players in the world are all entered at Colonial, and the only American who is not entered is Patrick Cantlay from California, which may explain something right there. But, so the only other players who are not entered are European players who couldn't get back here and didn't want to quarantine once they got back to America and everything. So they're staying out. But,
right, like a Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, or Adam Scott,
mm-hmm.
or some of the guys like
Paul
that.
Casey.
But Paul Casey, yeah.
Yep.
And, but the European players that live here, like Rory and people like that, they're all in. And so I'd be interested to see, Rory, number one player in the world, has never been to Colonial before. And a bunch of guys are like that, have never been to Colonial. It's a very unique golf course because it's old school, smaller, from the tees where they're using maybe about 6,800 yards, not that long, but almost every hole is a dog leg. So, the big bashers, the big Dustin Johnsons, the big Brooks Koepkas that can hit it, hitting it 5 miles doesn't help you at Colonial. It's hitting it a mile and shaping it around the tree left to right or right to left. That's what helps you at Colonial.
Yeah. I mean, look at some recent winners, Kevin Na, Kevin Kisner, some of the shorter guys who putt really
Zach
well
Johnson.
up there.
Yeah, Zach Johnson, another one, Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in my opinion, Colonial, well, first off, before we get to Colonial itself, what does this mean, you think, having the tournament come back to Texas and the DFW area, PGA Tour, the return is coming back to Texas? I mean, I got to give props to Governor Abbott for letting us have the tournament because we saw what happened with the John Deere Classic. That tournament got canceled. How important is this to the DFW community and to the state of Texas?
Oh, very important. And I think it's so interesting. And I just did a story in this month's Avid Golfer about Colonial. It's now hosted the two most important events to golf in the last 25 years that had nothing to do with score. I think people remember that Annika played at Colonial when she was the number one player in the world.
Yep.
It's the first time a woman had played a PGA Tour event in 50 years. And huge step forward for a woman to play in a PGA Tour event as the number one player in the world. And how would she test herself against men? And, of course, good one day, not as good the other, missed the cut, but very significant event. Huge ratings. And so I think the fact that golf is back after 90 days, this is the longest break golf has had in competition since World War II. And so the fact that professional golf is back, all the great players will be there. It will be very interesting to see. I talked to Kevin Na before then, and he said, I motivate myself with the fans. When fans start cheering, that gets me pumped up. And he goes, I'm not really sure how I'm going to motivate myself when I'm out there because, if a guy rolls in a 40-foot putt for birdie or, if somebody dunks one, from the fairway, there's going to be no crowd there. I mean, there's going to be no noise. Maybe one or two guys could clap or, the playing partner says, good shot, but he doesn't really mean it, so it'll be real interesting to see, how these guys do motivate, because they do some great stuff on the golf course, but, are you going to see a really fist pump from a guy after snaking in a long one, with nobody around? Kind of a fist pump. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting.
This is almost going to be, in my opinion, golf in the purest form. With the combination of no fans, literally the best players in the world outside of the guys we mentioned and Tiger Woods, they're not going to be there. This is an old school golf course, minimal homes out on the course, if any, not that I can think of or remember.
Yeah.
Where Ben Hogan and and Byron Nelson had some of their famous
Yeah.
matches as amateurs and young professionals. Like, I think this is going to be golf in the purest form. And when I hear Brooks Koepka say, like, oh, like, I feed off the fans or whatnot, I kind of shrug my shoulders at that and be like, I think, especially somebody like Brooks Koepka is so internally driven, in my opinion, that I think they'll be okay with
Right.
no fans. And I'm excited. I don't know if it's a golf purist in me or whatnot. I'm excited to see golf in this form, at least for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I think so, and I think you will. I think once the players get there and they see all the other great players there, I think that'll motivate them internally. I remember one year at the Byron Nelson, they had the top 5 players in the world. This back in in the '90s when Byron was there and hosted everything. But I asked VJ Singh. I said, VJ, what's it like to have all the other top players in the world all playing together? All in the same group or same pairing. And VJ goes, we like it when the best players are in the world all together because then I can keep an eye on the rest of those guys. And I think that's what you're going to see at Colonial. I think that, it's going to be pretty easy for Brooks to keep an eye on Dustin, to keep an eye on Rory, to keep an eye on, Bubba Watson or, anybody like that. It's going to be very interesting. And I agree. I can't wait. Can't wait for the weekend. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be glued to the TV pretty much all weekend, especially since I've been fortunate to go play Colonial. So even just going out there as a fan or playing the course, once you actually see a golf course like that, you can be like, oh, hey, this is where I was on that shot, and let's see how they do. Like, I saw a video of who was it? Brant Snedeker hitting a driver off the deck on 14, I believe. And it's like once you've been on that hole, you realize how great of a shot that is that he hit.
I love old school courses, and my least favorite type of golf course, Scott, are the courses that you hit it a long way, you go find it, hit it a long way again. I think that takes no challenge, that takes no imagination, and the fact that you've got to be so imaginative at Colonial. And so you've got to be so in tune with your game. And these guys haven't played a lot. So it'd be very interesting to see. But if you look at the Wall of Fame, and you've been there, so the black marble wall just to the right of the number 1 tee. You go down the list, that's a World Golf Hall of Fame wing all to itself. With, Hogan won there 5 times, and Jack Nicklaus has won, Lee Trevino, Ben Crenshaw, Phil Mickelson's won there. He's in the field this week.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Spieth is won. He's in the field. Adam Scott's won. Just, man, what a lineup. Zach Johnson, Tom Watson. All the greats have won at Colonial. And so I think that's just what brings it back more to golf's relevance and golf's spotlight.
Yeah, and I think this is a good opportunity for the tournament itself because it seems like in the last couple of years, a few of those top guys haven't come to the tournament. It's the same problem that the Byron Nelson is running into now, and that's a whole different discussion for a different time. But I think this is going to bring some life back to the tournament. I mean, even something as simple as they've switched title sponsors a few times. They have trouble finding a title sponsor for that tournament. I think hopefully this will bring some life back into the tournament for years to come, and people will fall in love with this course.
I sure hope so. Yeah, I think so. And that's why I was excited to Seminole showcase a couple of weeks ago in the match and what they did there. But, yeah, Colonial is a great course, and you're right. At one time, it was one of the premier events on the PGA Tour. And, I think once that is schedule-driven, and that's a whole other show, how schedule drives, players. But, I mean, in fact, it's the number 1 course out there. Players are chomping at the bit. It's an old school classic course. And I think that players like to play historic courses. And that is why, for the life of me, and not that he consulted with me, but I don't understand why Tiger's not here. It makes no sense to me that Tiger, playing as great as he played a couple weeks ago with Brady, Manning, and Phil. I mean, clearly Tiger was the best player out there.
Yes.
Hit every fairway in a driving rainstorm, played great. He's coming to a place that has been won by all the great players we've mentioned, and he could add his name to that list. Plus, there's no fans there, so Tiger getting harassed by the Yahoo element or, fans. I mean, he wouldn't face that. So it really makes very little sense for Tiger to not play this week. But, in this, the only thing that would hold him back would be his body. But certainly, the display we saw in the rainstorm 2 weeks ago indicated his body was pretty good.
Yeah. As I say, he looked like he was dialed in already, just on point.
So why wouldn't you want to bring that to a course that you played before, and all the other good players are there? But, Tiger once said, you never want to give it away for free. And maybe he thought that giving these guys a look at his game, would be given away for free. He's going to wait till Memorial with Jack, or he's going to wait some of these later tournaments to really, get his game down. And who knows? But great field, and obviously Patrick Reed down in Houston's going to be here. Patrick really had some good tournaments earlier in the year. In January and February, I'd say Patrick Reed's one of the hottest players, out there. He won a European Tour event and, has done well in America. Jordan Spieth, who's in the biggest slump of his career by far, who's entered this week. And, he's trying to get his game back there. He's won here at Colonial, but, gosh, he's in a bad way right now. So if he could turn around at Colonial, that would be huge for Jordan Spieth.
I mean, talk about the ultimate confidence booster. Virtually a home course event for him. Glad you mentioned one that he's already won at. I think that would be huge for him. And maybe, in my opinion, this might be exactly what the doctor ordered for Spieth, considering he hasn't won since, if I'm not mistaken, the British Open in 2017.
Right.
I mean, that's a long time for a player of Spieth's caliber not to win. So hopefully this time off, he figured it out. I think he just needs to get out of his own head. He's at a course he knows well. I would expect actually big things from Spieth coming back.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Scott. And, it's very interesting because a lot of players played, you saw that Dustin Johnson and Ricky Fowler, who's also entered this week, played in the match at Seminole. And then, Tiger and Phil played there. And there was an event at Merrido up here in Dallas. And, my guys had a charity event there. But Jordan didn't do any of that. He played in no competitive tournaments whatsoever. Worked a lot at home. He played some money games. He's at the Dallas National. He played a couple of money games. He and Kelly Craft, former NCAA champion, played in a member tournament at Dallas National. And think about you get to play a member event. Your opponent is Jordan Spieth and Kelly Craft.
Oh, hello.
But, that is but he didn't play any, so he's really worked on his game, worked really hard with his instructor, Cameron McCormick, which is the only instructor he's had. But, and I love Jordan. I've known him since he was 16, but you talk about he hadn't won. Scott, he hadn't competed. I mean,
right.
His top tens is shocking for a player. His lack of top tens in a major is shocking. So, I think he's got a chance to come back where you've got good memories. He's never going to be the longest hitter on the tour, but you don't need length at Colonial. He can certainly work his ball, which you do need here, and he chip and putt. So, who am I to tell Vegas how to run their business? But Vegas has Jordan Spieth at 55-1 right now. Ooh. Dude, need some of that.
Yeah. I mean, so for our listenership out there, maybe throw a few bucks down on Spieth. It'll be a good one.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, really, 55-1? I mean, so anyway, it's a lot of anticipation. I can't remember being in a tournament this anticipated since probably Annika was here. That was the last time that there was that much anticipation about Colonial. It's just going to be a really, really fun week.
I know just from the fan perspective, I'm pumped. I'm sure our listeners are really excited out there. Art, thanks a lot for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. Going out here, who do you think wins the Colonial with such a stacked field?
Boy, great question. I think I really think a guy that can work his ball, A guy that can, I like a guy like a Bubba Watson, guy that can really curve it, and that's why he's so successful. The guys that can curve it. That's right. I like a Bubba Watson. I like Kevin Na. Boy, he's had a lot of success here, and he's really playing good. And then I think that obviously a sentimental pick would be Spieth. Yeah, I think that Spieth is getting it going. Ryan Palmer's another guy, but I would say Kevin Na, Bubba Watson really would be two guys to look seriously at.
Okay. There you go, our listenership. Art Stricklin. You can follow Art on social media at Art Stricklin. You can go check out artstricklin.com. We love talking, in particular, Texas golf. Art has literally wrote the book on it, links, lore, and legends, the story of Texas golf. And so, Art, we can't thank you enough for coming on and help giving us a preview for the Colonial this week.
Hey, glad to do it. Call me anytime. I'm happy to do it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Art.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a good week.
Okay, that was Art Stricklin coming to you live from Colonial in Fort Worth, Texas. Awesome interview. Art Stricklin, he is one of the best, especially when it comes to Texas golf. He knows so much about the state of Texas, how golf has played an impact in the state of Texas. Literally, he's written the book on it, links, lores, and legends. And so Art Stricklin, go check him out. Follow him on social media at Art Stricklin. Check out artstricklin.com and also the Arts of Golf Travel. I've been on a couple of his trips for his travel experience. He hooked us up for the Masters. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. He knows how to do it right. So, T-Bone, welcome, man. How you doing?
Doing good.
It's a little weird doing our own not usual intro, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a little different. I'll normally give Kyle shit for skipping an episode. He normally has a bullshit reason, but I'll let this one slide. Tee time at Memorial Park. Those are hard to come by, and if he's playing golf, I guess we can't bash him too hard, but
yes, that is correct. He's playing Memorial, which is, if you go check, I'll put a link right here. There we go. He is playing Memorial. I did a review of Memorial Park. Again, should be right there. And review of Memorial. It's really hard to get a tee time, man. It's like, have you played it? Yes. Wait, you've played it. I've played it a couple times, but most people have not. I tried to get a tee time there. So I woke up at like 6 a.m., 3 days in advance, and they were already gone.
Yeah, I tried that a few times and kind of gave up. I even was thinking about it today. So you booked 3 days in advance?
Correct.
And I was feeling maybe a twilight round or something on Thursday. So I looked today at about 9 o'clock, and the only opening was 10:50 for one golfer. So you had to join a random group. So yeah, they're not easy to come by.
You got to go or try to get off early in the morning if you can, late in the day, just because it's starting to get really hot down here in Houston. And so, yeah, that was actually – so I submitted like some questions, send in your questions. We'll try to answer it. We got a question about Memorial Park. So maybe, Scaff, if we got time at the end, we'll answer that one. It's just like, do we think Memorial is going to be a good venue for the Houston Open? So
yeah,
we'll get that to the end. But big news, PGA Tour's back, baby. Again, thanks again to Art Stricklin for coming on. He's there on the grounds at Colonial. T-Bone, man, what a wild ride it's been the last 3 months. Can you believe that it's been almost 3 months since the PGA Tour, since who was leading the players or who won the players this year?
Hideki
Matsuyama is your 2020 Players Champion just because he was leading it. Man, I was thinking
freshman
about
high school edition.
18 holes only.
Yeah.
So what date was that? March 13th? It was Friday the 13th, right?
Yep.
Ooh.
That's creepy.
Creepy.
Yeah, my birthday was March 11th, and that was basically the last normal day.
Yeah. It surely was. Yeah, they were under pretty hot fire too because they weren't canceling as early as like basketball was, for example, since Rudy Gobert since he tested positive. But golf is back, baby. Golf is back. PGA Tour is back. I'm pumped. How pumped are you?
It's awesome. I mean,
It's so cool,
I don't
right?
know what I'd love that they're ramping it up too with the featured groups. I mean, you
Yes.
never see that in tournaments.
Correct.
Pure firepower from multiple groups.
It's amazing. So that's what, I mean, at least our portion, Art gave his preview. He gave some of his picks as well, which, Scaff, I don't think you've listened to it yet. He said, watch out for Bubba Watson. He said Bubba Watson is a pretty good pick. He also liked Kevin Na to repeat as champion. So, man, this got to be like one of the best leaderboards or best fields that has come to Colonial in a very, very long time. I mean, it seems like, in my opinion, which maybe you can substantiate a little bit, Colonial lost a little bit of steam since it's a kick-ass course, truly old school. Ben Hogan, it's not like his home course. He grew up playing at Shady Oaks, but that's literally across the street. So Colonial, him, Ben Hogan ties, Byron Nelson ties. It's so cool out there, truly old school. No homes on there, it's just you and the golf course. It's not an overly long golf course either. I think Art was saying it tips out to about 6,800. So you got guys like Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy's playing out there. Brooks Koepka's coming back. I'm glad that most of the guys, just start off with this, T-Bone, I'm glad most of the top guys are playing.
Mm-hmm.
Really, let's talk about a few noticeable players who aren't going to be there. There are only like really 3 or 4 to come to mind. Tiger Woods being one of them. Paul Casey, Tommy Fleetwood, and Adam Scott are probably the most recognizable 4 names. That's because a lot of them are international, and they got to do the quarantine stuff or like come back quarantine, whatever it is.
And I guess Adam Scott's kind of a big one because he won 2 or 3 years ago, maybe.
Correct.
Maybe longer.
The Players Champion this year, Hideki Matsuyama, is not playing.
Yeah.
And Patrick Cantlay is not playing. But that's like about it, man.
Other than that, it's looking pretty good.
Loaded out there. And Art was saying this, and I totally he originally thought that a lot of the top players wouldn't come, which is kind of understandable. They want to see how the policies and procedures are going to be with testing and whatnot. But man, first one back, a lot of them are diving right in, and I'm fired up. Baby. Let's go. Okay, Colonial, huge groups. Let's go down some feature groups, shall we? Because these feature groups are sick. Again, probably one of the best fields in recent memory. It says, because the Colonial, in my opinion, again, it lost some steam. They've even had trouble finding title sponsors. Like Damon DeLuca was a title sponsor at one point. Now it's Charles Schwab. Like, people just know that as Colonial because of the course. It's very historic. Again, if you go down and see the Wall of Champions off the number 1 tee, so beautiful over there. So feature groups are Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, and Brooks Koepka. Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas. Spring Break 2015. Smiley, where you at? He's holding the scores. I saw a meme about that. Verbal meme.
Nice.
That he was carrying. He was like the 12-year-old first tee kid.
Standard bearer,
yeah.
Yep. Too easy, but necessary.
Continuing off that, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Justin Rose, which he was in the golf news this week. I think they're putting on like female pro golf tournaments.
Yeah, he's going to be hosting a series of women's tournaments in the UK, I think. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Great move. I mean, Justin Rose. I think he's one of those guys where, so Justin Rose's wife to sponsor British 7 tournament women's series, according to ESPN. So
yeah,
it's great. Huge on that. Props to Justin Rose. He's one of those guys where like boring, but is he former number 1 player in the world?
Yeah.
Man, he's good though. He's only got 1 major, which is kind of surprising for how good he is.
Yeah.
But I'm very bitter about my Masters pick on him, and he didn't make the cut. Like first time ever.
Yeah.
So Justin Rose.
That was rough.
He's actually like a really good guy and everything, but for that reason, I'm out. You're dead.
Is he still sponsored by Hanma?
No, he's not.
Okay. So that could turn it around.
I was not expecting to talk about Justin Rose, but remember when he switched to Hanma, he won his first tournament back.
Yeah.
It was at Torrey Pines, I believe. And really hasn't done anything since. Good for him.
That's crazy. That's crazy how, I mean, I can hit whatever the hell I want and it's not going to make a difference. But you think about Bubba Watson, decides he's going to mess with Volvic and has like his worst year on tour. Justin Rose, same thing, switches to Hanma, probably his worst year on tour in 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Well, the ball makes more sense for Bubba Watson. Because, like, the ball is actually kind of important. Like, Scaff, if I give you, it's an extreme example, but a top flight versus a Pro V1, you can tell a really big difference of that. I mean, that's like getting a gourmet burger and then a burger at a baseball game. Like, they're two totally different types of burgers.
Yeah, one shittier.
Well, depends on who you are and what you like, I guess. But, no, so the ball makes more sense. The clubs, though, are interesting because, in my opinion, once you reach a certain level, like, is there really that big of a difference? Like, we've heard all these stories about Tiger Woods. Yeah, he was playing a Nike ball, but it was really a Pro V1. They just slapped the Nike logo on it or something to that effect, or Bridgestone, whatever it is. So at that point, does it really matter? But, man, some of those guys, I've heard some stories of, man, like some people have signed with a certain brand because of the money. Maybe having that same thought process of, oh, it really doesn't matter. But then a year or two later, they're not on tour anymore because their scores shoot up.
Yeah.
It's wild. Oh, feel for those guys. So the other feature pairing is Phil Mickelson, Kevin Na, Gary Woodland. I don't know if I would have considered Kevin Na to be a feature pairing, but I guess he is still the winner.
Defending champ.
Gary Woodland, still your U.S. Open champ.
King of Sting.
What did Phil call him? That Tiger hits stingers.
Those are cute.
Wait, what is
Salacious seed.
Just like sends a shiver down my spine. But okay, so here's some other people that are playing. Obviously, Phil Mickelson, Jordan Spieth, Matthew Wolff, Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, Danny Willett, Scotty Scheffler, Billy Horschel, Mark Leishman, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau, Matt Kuchar. I mean, P. Reed, Webb Simpson, Xander, Bryson. What more do you want? Like, this is it. This got to be one of the best fields around outside of a major. Or maybe some sort of invitational, because this is...
Yeah.
And of course, probably headlining it is Rory McIlroy. So, Scaff, who you like? Who you like for this tournament?
So my original thought on Colonial, I looked at past winners, and aside from Phil, there's never really been bombers that win this tournament. And I thought that was the case, but I also thought about it's probably because a lot of the guys that are really good bomb the ball and they don't normally play in this tournament. So I went back and forth, but just based on the history of the tournament, you've got guys like Stricker, Zach Johnson, Kisner, Kevin Na, straight, accurate guys, good short game. So I'm kind of leaning towards that route. Another take I'm kind of looking at is it looks like throughout COVID, a lot of the veterans and really good players just totally called it quits. Didn't touch a club for Rory was talking about, he's like, I didn't touch a club for 30 days or something. DJ hadn't touched a club, didn't even have a ball marker in the first hole. So they're probably in the swing of things at this point, but I think those younger guys have been grinding.
Okay.
So I don't know, Victor Hovland had posted a picture today of his hands, and it looked like he stuck them in like a garbage disposal, like the most calloused hands I've ever seen. So I kind of like the younger, maybe a little more hungry guys and shorter hitters.
Okay.
I also like with Colonial, Oh no, something about Texas tournaments. I feel like the hometown guys are kind of more in it a lot of the time, and there's a pretty good number of DFW guys when you really think about it. So you got Bryson, SMU, Spieth, Scheffler, I guess
Is Kelly
Patrick
Craft
Reed.
playing?
I'm not sure. I didn't see him.
Oh, I did. I retweeted.
The Purple Cobra, JJ Henry.
What a call! What a call!
So granted, that's not a lot, but
okay. Here are the people with Texas ties: Jimmy Walker,
Brian Palmer, yeah,
Sebastian Munoz, Carlos Ortiz, Harry Higgs, Tom Hoagie, Cameron Champ, Scotty Scheffler, Spieth, Vegas, Hostler, and Kramer, Hickok. Is Stroud playing in this? I didn't see Stroud's name.
Doesn't look like it.
Darn. Chris Stroud, friend of the show. Go support him.
Yes, sir. So with all that, those are kind of the different areas I like. I like straight hitters. I like local town people. I like younger guys. So I'm going to do one of each. My straight hitter, pretty high odds, and really seems to be the only guy within the top 10 that has kind of a different game. Good mojo from a recent 300 par pod interview with Paul Casey. I think Webb Simpson's the guy.
Paul Tesori.
What'd I say? What'd I say?
Paul.
Shit. I tried.
Paul Tesori. He's the man.
Damn it.
I love the Webb Simpson pick, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
good.
That was.
They gotta have good. Too. They gotta have good mojo coming from the recent interview. Webb's a straight hitter, so I think that's a really good pick.
Love it.
Just for the hell of it, I'm gonna go with Spieth. I'm just ready. We said he was canceled for 2019. What better way to make an entrance into 2020?
Yeah. And you know, that's something that Art and I talked a lot about, of maybe this was the time that Spieth needed to get his shit together.
Yeah.
Lack of a better term. I mean, he's just been all over the place. He hasn't really even competed. And Art said that he hasn't even played in a tournament. He didn't play at Merido in those two events. He said the only thing he played in was at Dallas Nationals, a member guest with Kelly Craft. Like, he's been just working hard on his game. So previous winner there, rolls the rock well, and that's what you got to do. You got to roll the rock really well at Colonial. Think about Kevin Na, Kevin Kisner, great putters. So is Spieth. So you took two of my picks already, Scav, so I'm going to have to go
Seriously?
on the fly here. Yes.
Shit.
All right.
And then
you got one more.
My last pick, we're doing three?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to do a regular pick or a betting pick if you had to throw some money down?
I'm going to make Webb my betting pick.
Okay. So Webb
let's see. He's
currently at 25-1. He's actually like in top 5 favorites.
Yeah, he's behind Bryson, JT, John Rahm, and Rory.
Right.
So, yeah, the way I kind of look at it, and then Dustin and Brooks are behind him. And all those guys are bombers. And
yeah,
6,800 yards.
It's a long 6,800 though. I mean, because it's a par 70. Yeah. Literally the first hole is a par 5, and you don't have another one until 14, I believe, 14 or 15. You got Hogan's. It's at Hogan's Alley. I don't know. It's that stretch of like 3, 4, 5 of just stupid hard holes. There's so many dog legs out there, but we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to what to my kind of things I was feeling. So my straight hitter, solid pick, good odds, Webb Simpson.
Okay.
Hometown guy. He's no longer canceled. We're gonna go with Spieth. Then a young dude, who I've always liked, pretty quiet, Cameron Smith. Why not?
Okay.
He's gonna keep the momentum going from the President's Cup.
Nice. I like that. I like Cameron Smith. Good ball striker. Good ball striker there. So, okay, there we go. So before we move on, I want to get Kyle's picks in since Kyle is not with us here. Kyle is picking Roy McIlroy, Matt Kuchar, Coach, and Bryson DeChambeau. I don't hate those picks. I mean, Rory, okay, cool, water's wet. Like Rory McIlroy, as we always say, he doesn't win, but I feel like if he plays terrible, he's going to have a backdoor top 10. So congratulations, Kyle. You picked the best player in the world.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Cool, man. 8-1 odds. I mean, if you're looking for some easy money, maybe that 8-1 is a pretty good odds. Dude, I was watching the Tiger Slam. We need to do a review on that. The Golf Channel Tiger Slam.
Haven't seen it yet.
Man, go watch it. It's pretty cool. I mean, we always joked about it. Tiger Woods versus the field. Going into the British Open in 2000 at St. Andrews, Tiger was 2-1. 2-1 in golf. That is insane. That makes no sense. That shows how good he was because he had just, bent over Pebble Beach and like everybody was just like, well, we can't win because Tiger's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's a good watch because they talked a lot about Bob May and Tiger's win at the PGA at Valhalla that year, and then just like how awesome it was, and then continuing on to the Masters in 2001. So go watch it and let's do a review on that. Maybe in the next week or two.
Love it.
So, man, I love the Webb Simpson pick. I think, and it hurts me to say this, I think Patrick Reed might be a pretty good pick here too. Oh, just like brutal, man. Patrick Reed, unfortunately, it's a good pick. He's 30-1 too. Like Art was saying beforehand that he was like Patrick Reed's playing some good golf. And he is a Texas guy, lives down here in the Houston area. Again, we claim Chris Stroud, not Patrick Reed, but you got to go Patrick Reed, I think. I'm surprised at how low Dustin or Brooks Koepka's odds are on this. He's 30-1. I mean, Brooks Koepka is still the number 3 ranked player in the world, at least at the time of this recording. So that's pretty wild. What do you think about Jon Rahm? I don't really like Jon Rahm for this.
I mean, I guess he's the second favorite from what I'm seeing.
He's number 2 in the world right now. I didn't realize he's ranked number 2 in the world.
Yeah, it's a little low key.
I understand he hasn't won in a good bit, but he had a low key one of the best second half of the seasons last year. Mm-hmm. So he's just one of those guys, man. He plays a lot of tournaments. He plays well in most of the tournaments that he plays in. So Jon Rahm, I don't like him to win this week, but I just find it shocking that he's up there that high. You know who? Yeah. I think here's my dark horse pick. You ready?
Yep.
Ryan Palmer.
Okay.
Ryan Palmer. He lives in the DFW area. He practices at Vaquero a decent amount, which is not too far from Colonial. He's played out there a lot, at least to my understanding. Again, not a long hitter, rolls the rock pretty well. Hometown guy. So that's my dark horse / hometown pick. Ryan Palmer. I like Ryan Palmer for this one.
It's good stuff. While you're thinking of your next pick, I'm just looking at the tournament winners, and there's really, granted, again, like I said, this tournament's probably missed a lot of star power in the past, but you have Kevin Na, Justin Rose, I guess, can hit it out there a little bit. Kevin Kisner, Spieth, Chris Kirk, Adam Scott can maybe hit it out there. Boo Weekley in 2013.
Boo! Let's go!
And then Zach Johnson, David Tom, Zach Johnson, Stricker, Phil, and Rory Sabatini. So really none of those guys bomb it other than
Rory Sabatini?
Yeah.
Ugh. Gosh.
But yeah, in the last 15 years, the only guy that really hits it out there, it's Phil, maybe Scott. Adam Scott, maybe Boo Weekley. Everyone else, I'm sticking to the facts here.
Stick to the Carfax.
Stick to the Carfax. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ryan Palmer just fits right in with that group, I feel like. Granted, a lot of those guys, though, well, are like even when it comes to Zach Johnson, Steve Stricker, like those are major championship type players.
Yeah.
So maybe in that sense, he's not there. Ryan Palmer doesn't match that. Like that's why I think Patrick Reed would be like major championship winner, not overly long, but hits it long enough, knows how to work the ball too. So that's why I think Patrick Reed is actually a really good pick here. Credit to me for that one and Art Stricklin. But
You can take that credit all you want.
yeah, thank you. But I mean, Ryan Palmer at 60-1. That's why I like that. You know, who's also 61 is Matthew Fitzpatrick. I love his game. Again, not an overly long guy, so that's why I think he would do well.
Do you
At
love
this
his game
tournament.
at Augusta?
So moving on to the next one. Hey, he's done well for me at Augusta. He's not done. He's done better than Justin Rose has. Screw
Yeah.
Justin Rose. Again, only for that reason. I'm sure he's a great guy.
Gone back to our Masters picks from about a year and a half ago or a year ago. Those were
it wasn't
Scott's.
this year because we didn't have a Masters this year.
Correct. Not yet.
Not yet, my man. You know who's kind of hot though? Is Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler won that first Merito event. He was probably on pace to be in PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, I would say, for this year. Again, I know he's played well, I don't know, but I'm sure he's played a decent amount there being from Highland Park. So, and he finished second at the second round of the Merito. Brandon Wu won the second time. I don't know if we talked about that, but I like Scotty Scheffler on this. Man, I'm just talking about people who I like. Let's go. So I'm on mybookie.ag now. You know who could be a decent pick too? He's at plus 6,000. So 60-1. Jason Day.
Wow.
Jason Day.
Is he a Colonial or Byron Nelson? Byron Nelson.
He's a Byron Nelson winner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so here are my official picks. Ryan Palmer, Patrick Reed, Jason Day. There we go.
Nice. I think those are good. Kyle went a little cliche with his. I think we're stepping out a little bit. So.
Yeah, I agree. With Rory Cooch, Bryson. Dude, Bryson has put on the muscle or weight, whatever you want to call it. But, dude, that guy's – you want to talk about hitting bombs. He is actually crushing, absolutely destroying the golf ball now. I saw something like he's now second on strokes gained off the tee on tour now.
Wow.
He's hitting the ball about 18 to 20 yards further this year than he was last year, just because he just started taking care of himself a little bit more. And we'll see if that plays out. You know, when people put on that kind of weight and distance, they lose a lot of their feel. But he's such a scientific guy that maybe it'll work for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
So those are our preview and picks for Colonial. Again, I want to give a big shout out to Greg Abbott for allowing the PGA Tour to come back to the state of Texas. He's our governor because, as we saw what happened with John Deere, Illinois governor is still, I don't know, cracking down. The state's still a little bit more on lockdown. And so that's why the John Deere Classic has had to move. I think having the tournament back, not only for Colonial, but being the first one back, sets a really good precedent. It looks good for the state of Texas. And also it brings some life back into this tournament that was struggling. And I think maybe players will realize how good of a course this is. Fort Worth, in my opinion, is awesome. I really like Fort Worth, probably more than Dallas, to be honest. And I used to live in Dallas, so I can say that. But it's a really cool event, man. I'm pumped. I'm super pumped about this.
No media passes this year.
I did apply.
Fortunately.
For the record, I did apply for media passes. I got denied.
Goal for next year.
Goals for next year. I like it. And also, just for the record, I did not apply through 3 Under Par. I actually work for a media company for my real world job, and they still denied me. So
Okay. I thought you applied through 3 Under.
No,
But
I did
it's
not.
okay.
I mean,
So we've never tried.
so 3 under par has never tried to apply
Okay.
for media passes. To be determined. So I think Houston Open is probably our best bet because we actually kind of got some hookups over there that we can work some angles with. So, man, PGA Tour's golf is back. I'm excited. From here, really, let's call it through 2021. In the next year and a half, Scaff, it's going to be a sprint with just awesome golf. Depending on what the Ryder Cup is going to be, we have throwing the Masters with college football and potentially a Ryder Cup and a U.S. Open and everything else in between, dude. Like, we got some serious golf that is coming our way, and I cannot wait.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be fantastic. Thomas, that's all I got, man.
A few other things that just came to mind.
Go for it.
New official Instagram logo.
New logo, baby.
New logo. Also experimenting with some merch. So I think I will post a picture of some hats we're messing with. Post the link in our bio. Give the listeners a chance to rock some 3 Under Par merch. So look out for that. Yeah, things are moving and shaking here.
I love it.
It just sucks I called one of our biggest interviewees by the wrong name. But
dude, you just gotta take the L on that one.
Yeah, it's okay. He's my pick. Let's get it. Golf's
Paul
back.
Tesori, if you are out there, if you're following, again, Paul Tesori is a great guy. Him and Webb are like some of the nicest, well-grounded people, I would say, on the PGA Tour. People who are outspoken about their faith and just such great guys, do a lot for the community. The Tesori Family Foundation, go check them out. They do some great work with the special needs community. So Tesori Foundation is fantastic. I'm going to be cheering them on. They're new because they're friends of the show now. So I'm a Webb Simpson guy.
Oh, yeah?
I think so, 100%. He's also a Wake Forest dude, and I got some buddies who went to Wake. So go Deeks. Shout out to Shotty. Shout out to Matt. Go Deeks. Go Webb. I'm cheering for Webb. I think Webb is going to win a major championship this year. Actually, wow. I don't know if I think that. I was feeling it. So, yes. Okay, that's all I got for this. Any other parting thoughts? The hats look fire, man. The merch looks
good stuff. Yep. We'll throw that out there.
All right. Scaff Daddy. Appreciate it. Before we get out of here, follow us on social media at 3 Under Par Pod. That is the number 3 Under Par Pod. Twitter, Instagram, DMs are open there. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, which hopefully you are, please go ahead and write a review. Give us 5 stars. Write a review about what you like about the show. If you're watching on YouTube, click that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Also, check out some of our other videos. Golf course review of Memorial Park. That's where the Houston Open is going to be at. We're going to keep doing the podcast episodes, uploading those on Tuesdays, new videos, whether it be a golf course review or anything like that else on Fridays. That's when those other videos are going to come out. Scaff, before we close out, we're playing in a tournament this weekend.
Kind of forgot about that.
I totally forgot about that until just now. Shout out to Nextgengolf. Nextgengolf, if you go back to last year, pretty early on, we had the CEO of Nextgengolf, Chris Hart. So he's been on the show. NextGen, really good organization. What they're doing, they have the city tour where they host golf tournaments for young professionals like ourselves. And we are playing in a tournament on Saturday, 2-man scramble, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
Love it. Not to put you on the spot, do you have the promo code?
If you are in the Houston area or in other places across the country, go to nextgengolf.com and use promo code 3 Under Par. That is the number 3 Under Par. At your checkout, you can get $10 off your entry fee. And look, dude, honestly, like they're not paying us for this or anything. Like we're developing a good relationship with them, and we're trying this out, see if it works. So use the promo code 3UnderPar, get $10 off, because I got to say one thing that's great about this, and we actually had them on the show right before, literally the week of the players. We're going to release that episode the next week, and Corona happened. So they had to push back a lot of their tournaments. And the tournaments, they have 4 in most major cities across America. They're on the weekends, so you don't have to take time off from work. One-day tournament on the weekends, pretty affordable, I would say. Like, we're playing Black Horse on Saturday, and generally on the weekends, it's public course. It's about $100 to get a tee time, and our entry fee was about $100. And you get some balls, tees, other good stuff with it. And it's the same price as a regular Saturday game. Like, that's awesome.
Good stuff.
Especially
they're fun. I've played them in the past.
What?
Yeah, I've played them in the past. Very fun tournaments. I also feel pretty badass that we have a promo code now to,
Right.
Kind of promote something.
This is our first promo code that we've ever had or used. So use it. 3UnderPar. Because they're great. I mean, as Thomas mentioned, we've gotten to know them a little bit just because they also host club golf, and Thomas and I played club golf in college at Baylor. No big deal, but we won a national championship. So, second, we're number 1, baby. Let's go. Hopefully, we'll go win this City Tour national championship. There's never been a repeat college and City Tour national championship. Thomas is making it happen, dude.
I love it.
I love it. Again, that's nextgengolf.com. I'll put the promo code also in the description. Yeah, I think that'll be good. So I'm glad we remembered that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the listeners are ready for this episode to end.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Comment below on who you think is going to win this week, or write that in review. If you're right, I'll do something for you. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe I'll send you a sleeve of Pro V1s. Yeah, how about that? If you send me your pick and you are correct, I will send you a sleeve of Pro V1s.
Via email?
No, like actual golf balls.
No, like how are they sending you the picks?
Follow us on social media. DM us or email. Look, I put our social media handles and email in the description every single time. So you can email me, you can DM us, or comment wherever, write a review. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you this. If you write a review with your picks in it, and you are correct, I will send you a full box of Pro V1s.
Wow.
Boom.
Damn.
There we go.
That's big.
You heard it here first. I'm going to try to even cut this together for a promo code. Maybe. No, promo code's 3UnderPar Next Gen Golf. But if you're correct and you write a review on Apple Podcasts specifically, so you got to put your prediction in Apple Podcast review, I will send you a box of Pro V1s.
Heard it here first.
Heard it here first. That is my parting gift to you. T-Bone, have a good week, man. We'll talk throughout the week. Hopefully we hear from you, the listenership, because the show is growing. We can't thank you enough for listening and tuning in. I'm Scott. That is T-Bone. And remember,
Little White Ball's life.